Are you coming to Las Vegas for EDC? Is it your first EDC? Do you know what to expect? While you are here, did you want to check out some nightclubs or day clubs? Unlike EDC, you do not have to purchase tickets to gain entry to all Las Vegas clubs. All Vegas clubs have a free guest list option that more often than not is the best option for free or cheaper entry. In this video, I'm going to be going over everything you need to know about planning your trip to EDC in Las Vegas, how you can save some money using Las Vegas guest lists, and some tips and tricks you might want to know if it's your first time going to EDC Las Vegas. Hey, my name is Norman J. I'm a nightclub promoter here in Las Vegas, and my goal is to help inform you so that you and your friends can have the highest quality Vegas party experience. EDC, short for Electronic Daisy Carnival, is the biggest rave in North America, or festival, whatever you want to call it. If you haven't been to Vegas before, there's some things you want to know. Vegas is hot, and during May, although not one of the hottest months in Las Vegas, if you ain't from Vegas, you're still gonna think it's hot as balls. Vegas can still be over 100 degrees at the high, but depending on the wind, it could get kind of cold if the wind is crazy. Daytime, like if you are walking around on the strip, or if you check out some day clubs, it's still super hot. The way I describe it, it's like when you're cooking a frozen pizza and when your oven is done preheating and you open it up to put the pizza in and you feel that wave of heat hit your face. That is kind of what Vegas feels like. Dry, thick ass, hot wave of heat. You will feel it when you step out of the casino and you walk into the side. Weather is definitely something you want to monitor as it gets closer to the trip to get a good feel of what to pack. The daytime will be pretty hot, but for EDC nighttime, depending on the wind, it might get a little cold, like some previous years. With over 300,000 tickets sold, that's about 100,000 people partying, because it's a 3-day event and EDC counts the tickets by days. So May already being the busiest month in Las Vegas to party, there's an additional 100,000 people in town. This is important for a couple reasons. First one being flights are going to be more expensive. And second one being hotels have less availability, so which also means more expensive. A lot of people struggle to book hotels during EDC week. So anybody looking to go to EDC and you are from out of state, you want to book those hotels as soon as possible. And for hotel reservations, I could possibly help you get a better rate for your room. So hit me up if you guys have not yet booked your hotel rooms. And this is not just for EDC, but this is throughout the year. Now, Las Vegas pro tip, if you are not planning to go to EDC, but you want to plan a Vegas trip just sometime during the summer, then I would recommend not planning it during EDC week, May 17th to 19th, because you are essentially paying what I like to call the EDC tax, but you aren't even going to the festival. More expensive flights and rooms when you don't have to be there that weekend. Now, Memorial Day weekend is the weekend right after EDC weekend, which is also an expensive weekend in Las Vegas, but the week after that, the hotels and flights should be much cheaper. Basically, if it's just a boys trip, a girls trip, or a batch party that does not need to be there for EDC week, then it's best just to pick another week. I get it, for Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people come just because of the 3-day weekend, and it's a work schedule issue. But if getting off work is not an issue, then the week before EDC or the week after Memorial Day weekend, you should spend less money on flights and rooms, and Vegas will still be bumping. Speaking of rooms and accommodations, if you know you are going to EDC for sure, then book your hotels as soon as possible. The hotel prices are only going to go up until the event. You do not want to book your hotels last minute. You will have very few options for locations, and they will be much more expensive. So I know I'm going to see a ton of comments saying, fuck the strip, camp is the way to go. Personally, I've never camped, and sadly, I probably will never get to now. One, because I'm a little too bougie and I like my hotel rooms and my room, but mainly because I work at XS now and I can only go on Sundays. But even if I didn't work at the club, I can't fucking handle raving more than 1 day now. I did the whole 3 days thing before, and then it became 2 days. And for the past few years, it's just been 1 day now. And I must say, it's like the right amount for me. But yeah, back to the camp. I hear a lot of good things about the camp. Reasonably priced, extremely convenient. Also, you are only with rave people versus on the strip, you are kind of just blended with like the regular pedestrians as well. Me personally, I would want to be on the strip. I just love Vegas and I love that main strip energy. But something about the camp that maybe you guys can help me on this one. So there are a bunch of activities at Camp EDC, parties, pool parties, after parties. Now, for all of these parties at Camp EDC, are all of them 21 and over? 18 and over, or is it a mixture of both? I always get a ton of 18 and over party questions, and I really just don't have anything for them. So please let me know in the comments. And on a side note, if you and your friends need any help in Las Vegas planning your trip, feel free to text or DM me. WhatsApp is the most reliable, so I prefer that. If I don't reply, then double text me or try another platform, please. You could DM me on Instagram. My handle is NormanJ_Las Vegas, or you could text or WhatsApp me. My number is 702-381-1873. Now on to the next topic, transportation. The Las Vegas Speedway is where it's held, and that's about an hour commute away from the Las Vegas Strip. Keep in mind, that's the commute with no traffic. Now, if you leave anywhere between 6 to 8 p.m., you are not getting there in an hour. If you are taking the shuttle, it could take you a lot of time just to get on your shuttle. And then it could take 1.5 to 2 hours to get to the festival. So if you don't want to stress about times, or if there are DJs that you want to see that are playing very early, then just leave as early as you can to avoid the traffic. Okay, Ubers and Lyfts. Now, getting there is really not that bad from the Strip. Yes, expect a surcharge, but getting picked up anywhere around the Strip is not that hard. The hard part is getting back to the Strip. You might have to walk until you can find an Uber or Lyft that's available, or stick around EDC area and just keep walking till you get reception until you can connect to get an Uber or Lyft. A lot of people schedule rides and pickups either on one of the apps or even making private deals with drivers. A lot of people in Vegas drive that weekend as like an extra paid gig. I personally like the shuttles. It was just the smoothest experiences that I've had. We almost always had trouble leaving EDC if we did not have the shuttles. And the last thing you want to do after partying all night is not being able to get back to your hotel or room. Now, pre-gaming. Now, unless y'all are party animals that rage hard start to finish, I personally take it easy until we are close to the festival or in the parking lot. You don't know how long the commute could take. It could take 1 hour with no traffic, but it could take up to 2 to 3 hours with maximum traffic. And then even after you park or get dropped off, it takes time to get into the festival as well. Now, another thing about transportation, if you decide to drive to EDC from the Strip, then something to keep in mind, this is a warning about staying till the very end of the last set. Now, I don't want to say you shouldn't stay, because I do think it's cool to experience the end of the day. The sun is coming up, the final set, vibing under the electric sky, and they often put a good DJ for the final set, but leaving the parking lot could take you up to 3 hours just to get out of the parking lot. My very first EDC, I remember it like it was yesterday. We stayed until closing day one, Dash Berlin's last set at Circuit. We were lit, having too much fun, not a care in the world. Honestly, pretty magical with you and all your friends singing along to all the feels until the music fucking stopped. You walk out like fucking zombies, and by the time you like are in the parking lot, the sun is getting higher and now it's starting to get hot, and then you're just like in the car, it might be squished and you're just miserable. And it took us 3 hours to get out of the parking lot, and then it's an hour and some drive back to get to our hotel. I think we got back to our hotel at like 10:30 a.m., something like that. And then we showered, then we sleep. We were so over it after the first hour of just waiting in the car. The last set was great at all, but if you ask me, it was not worth the suffering that came after. One and done for me. It was kind of like a heaven and hell experience all in one night. So I'm not trying to tell y'all what to do. Just if you decide to stay, know what it could come with. Now, when it comes to the question of which wristband to get, either VIP or regular, now honestly, if you ask me, I think this is gonna heavily depend on your squad. If you are with a big ass group and the majority of your squad is VIP, then just get VIP. Don't get left out. Now, you don't need VIP by any means. VIP, you get access to some different areas, possibly some better bathrooms, but EDC I feel has been stepping up their bathroom game already. At least from when I first started going to EDC, that was definitely a big benefit back in the day. For me, I get VIP now just because I want to be able to meet up with whoever I want to meet up with. I live here, so I have a lot of friends that are going to EDC every year. So now let's talk about the main strip in Las Vegas, nightclubs and day clubs. So all of Las Vegas clubs will be heavy on the DJ lineup that week for EDC. I know the rave scene is kind of split about the club scene. I want to say there's a good 25% of ravers that just do not like the club scene at all, some of which are high-key sipping haterade, which is not plur, by the way. I'm just saying, some of y'all with the 20 candies a bracelet too. You can't be plur if you're hating on different party scenes. Some of y'all only plur if they give you candy. Whole lot of haterade in that scrunched up water bottle. Anywho, sorry for the rant. Now, if you like the club scene, I highly recommend you checking out a day club while you guys are here. I'm telling you, Vegas day clubs are the best parties in Las Vegas. So normally it's Saturdays, which is the main day, also with the biggest headliners. But for EDC week, there should be some good headliners on Thursdays, Friday day, and Sunday days. Something to keep in mind as well, some DJs that play in Vegas clubs won't be playing at EDC. Like in the past years, DJs such as Calvin Harris, RL Grime, Griffin, Porter Robinson, just something you might want to consider on your trip. So some of the DJs you guys might want to see at Las Vegas clubs during EDC week. Wednesday night, May 15, Mal P is playing at XS Nightclub. Slander is at Zouk Nightclub. Thursday daytime, Diplo with Disco Lines at EBC and Alesso at Tau Beach. Thursday night, Excision with Arm & Hammer at EBC at night, Rufus the Soul at XS, and Millennium at Zouk. Friday day, Griffin at EBC, Zed at Wet Republic, and Fisher at Tau Beach. Friday night, RL Grime at Zouk. Saturday, David Guetta at Uncle Beach Club. John Summit and Calvin Harris are both playing at Live Beach that weekend. Millennium at IU Saturday daytime. Cascade plays at Zouk Saturday and Monday night. And also on Monday night, Steve Aoki plays at Juke. Monster lineup as you can expect for a big weekend in Las Vegas. Now, these events could possibly change as it gets closer. I could see Live possibly opening up Thursday night and maybe throwing Dom Dalla in the mix. For all of these events I just listed, they all should have a guest list option. If you aren't familiar with the guest list, it's a free option to get into the club. And in many cases, that means free entry to the club within a certain time frame. And it's more often than not the best and cheapest way to get entry into the club. I did make a video that goes into depth about that. You can check it out right here. Now, the only night that I might suggest you guys might not want to use the guest list would be EDC week Thursday night for certain events. In terms of crazy traffic for the clubs, all of the clubs are not that crazy except for Thursday night because a ton of people are already in Las Vegas for EDC that night. So some of those 100,000 people are gonna want to be going to a party. So that Thursday night, you need to be careful which events you guys are going to if you want to use the guest list option. If you are not a group of all girls, then buying tickets or buying bottles might be a better option overall for those busy events. The very busy events have been Omnia, Encore Beach Club at night, and Zouk. For these events, guest list lines will be extra long, and it's very possible that these events, the guest list ends or gets cut early if capacity is hit. And guest list being the free option to get in is never prioritized over the paid options like the pre-sale tickets or the bottles. For every other event, all of the day clubs, they'll be normal busy. The guest list should work just fine. It is still May, which is the busiest month of the year for Vegas for partying, so the day clubs will still be pretty good all days. Something to keep in mind, candy is not allowed in a lot of Las Vegas clubs. I know it's EDC, but please make sure to leave them in your hotel rooms before going to a club in Las Vegas because they might make you throw them away. I think it might be to minimize sneaking in drugs into the venue. Like for example, bigger bags are not allowed into the Las Vegas clubs. And a part of the reason for that is big bags might have secret pockets and it might be harder to search. And for the bougie people at EDC, there is Marquee Sky Deck. I believe it's in the VIP section of Kinetic Stage. Marquee, same as the nightclub and day club here in Vegas, partner with EDC every year, and they have this space called the Marquee Sky Deck, where they offer bottle service on an elevated platform at Kinetic Stage. It's basically XS Night Swim, but at EDC. If you know some Vegas industry people, then you'll know exactly what I mean. Now, prices for tables are pretty expensive. I believe they start at $5K, and that I think covers the tickets for 10 people for entry. Pro tip for EDC, a lot of people have made the mistake, myself included, of booking my return flight from EDC on Monday at like 2 p.m. or even worse, earlier, forgetting that EDC Sunday ends at 6 a.m. Monday. And if you stay until close and you don't have a shuttle pass, it could take you 2 hours to leave the parking lot and then get back to your hotel by 9 or 10 a.m. And then you have to be at the airport by 1 p.m. This is a fool's mission for most. Unless you plan to take it easy Sunday night and possibly leave early, then just book your flight for Tuesday or even later. Well, that's all the tips I got for EDC. If there was anything you wanted to know or anything that I left out, please let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them if I can. If you guys want to know more about the best parties in Las Vegas, which are the day clubs, I made a video that goes into depth about that. You can check it out right here. I'll see you guys in the next one, and under the electric sky.